The project was, our project officer already introduced, it is in the so-called coordination and support action activity. And the idea is to establish new alliances between materials and industrial entrepreneurs. So it looks very material oriented and it looks very product oriented. So that's for the textile industry, for the business, the challenge. But what we learn when we interpret the demands, we come from the designer, from the technician to a listener, and we are listening to the caregivers. The caregivers have the experience, what is the design of the product, the requirements, the needs, and the daily practice. That's why the project is devoted to the demands of elderly, and the caregivers are the translators, because a lot of the elderly can't even articulate the demands. So that's the challenge. Finally, we want to see initiations of new products. So the challenge we already saw, we have a really tremendous increase in elderly people. Their health status is increasing, but there is a period where people need a lot of support and care, and there is a need for development of products which are appropriate to the needs of the people. So this has been recognized also by the Commission, and that's why a project like this gets a funding. The audience where the outcome of the project should direct are policymakers, manufacturers, institutions, public. It is also a kind of awareness about the situation of elderly. And when you see the caregivers, where are our caregivers? They are primary the persons who define the outcome of the project. So they are on the side of the project development. So they are really the center around which the project is built. So what we want to have is improved products. We want to have improvement of quality of life of the persons, but particularly also an improvement in the workload of the people giving care, providing care. This is a tremendous workload and a big stress, and that can be supported by intelligent products. Intelligent products does not mean that they are extremely expensive or they are extremely sophisticated from the technique, but they are intelligent from the design, from the use, and from the materials. So that's why the consortium has a different structure. The consortium normally is very strongly research oriented. So we have only the activity of coordinating and putting in, together with another institution, a little materials competences. We have also manufacturers, because what cannot be manufactured, cannot be produced, cannot be provided. But we are very happy to have care organizations, and also in particular the CAPI region has a very increased, particularly in that establishment of care organization and new approaches to care. We are very happy to have these partners in, which define the direction. Otherwise, products will never match with the market, and the market is defined by the use. So that's why the structure of the project starts from the collection of information. We have to understand, that's on the second stage, why a situation is like this, and that's why we have to listen caregivers. Caregivers are the persons who give us the direction. It makes no sense to make product without considering of reality, and reality is hard, exerting, and is a daily stress. So everybody who gets near in that field starts to get a lot of respect of the work done by caregivers. Can we go a little back? No, once back to the slide. So from this understanding, we should design new concepts, new solutions. They should be analyzed for the feasibility, and then the initiation. This is one of the outputs, is the initiation of new cooperations. So every partner in the project has a certain burden to take, a certain contribution. The scientific partners bring in the knowledge about materials, what's going on, and they also take the burden of reporting and running the project, because we can't ask caregivers to run a project like that. We are happy if we get contributions, and informations and comments and assessments, but we cannot put an additional load of them on them. That's why the roles are different. Manufacturers give us an idea about costs, and the technology transfer organizations help us to spread the information. So we focus on 4 groups of materials. At the moment we are active in bedding and clothing. We start with the rather apparently easy concept of bedding, and then on the term of the project, on the run of the project, we go into more complicated ones like hygiene, but always on textiles and therapeutic textiles, so contribution of textiles to therapy elements. But there we will have to focus. The market and the variety of products gets so wide that we only can then take some examples to show what can be possible. Reports then contain advices, recommendations, strategies, and we will have a look on that. So the structure is always the same. We start with extraction of information, collecting them in protocols, assessing the standard of knowledge, the materials, what is on use, what is really used, where are options to change, what is not acceptable. If you do that from the technical side, you will never match the needs of caregivers. So in the second work package, this will include a look on the state of materials, what is used, questionnaires, interviews. So any information from caregivers and also from productions welcome, always dedicated to a certain product line. At the moment it is bedding and clothing. So an example for an output, just 1-2 fields. So we have approximately a group covered of 700 persons through the caregivers questionnaires, which do that on behalf of people who are not in the position to answer. And the question was, what functionalities you find most often in bedding? So now if we look, so what is presently seen is, for example, bed climate, heat and moisture, regulation at least to a certain amount, breathability, and the barrier function, so that there is a barrier, for example, between a bed and mattress. These are 2 elements which have been found as they are there. So then another question was, and what would you like to have? So one is, the design of the material should not be that much hospital-like. So we would like to have a little more color appropriate to the people. We would like to have a different handle and an appearance. It should be more like at home. So to mobilize that emotional situation, get the people more on a better emotional activity. Or the quality of sleep was recognized as very important. The daily life will be better, the better the quality of sleep. And that has to do with the temperature household. So some feel cold, some feel warm. The touch, they want to be covered, so the weight of the blanket plays a role. So there are a lot of, it apparently seems simple, but you have to identify them and you formulate then a product which can be improved. So the work package 2 deals with understanding. So we have to listen and understand the needs, the possibilities, and also the different actors in this regulation. And that is done through workshops, seminars, discussion rounds, and we want to see barriers. There are barriers which are hidden and they prevent that the product really gets successful. Not from the point of the product, that comes by itself from the product, from the point of improvement of daily life of elderly. So if we have a good product, we improve the daily life of elderly, and that will be sold. So it goes reversely. We don't push a product on the market, we look for the needs and provide something which is better. So for that we have, for example, to understand barriers. We have to see to how it can be distributed, this information, how this really works. So again, we can look on an example or on an activity. So one was Ms. Ayers. She's a nurse expert and gave us a very, very exciting lecture in the last meeting about her experiences with care homes and what are the needs, and just I took some statements. So, for example, the regular check every hour or every 2 hours, it depends on the structure of the care home, in the night is very disturbing. So it is a question of sleep quality, but also a question for caregivers. As far as I heard from our caregivers, they really are, this is a very unlikely job to disturb the people, to make the light on and to go in their sleep. So this would be an application maybe where sensors could help, but they should not be visible. This is another approach we will see. So what she clearly states is we have to work together. This means scientists cannot go in the lab and just do something. They like to do that because scientists are a little more introverted. But we have to listen. That's why I told at the beginning we are listeners in this project and not talkers. I'm just a reporter, what we got. Examples for barriers. Barriers are bibs, nappies are ugly. Caregivers do not trust technology. They feel this is not appropriate. What happens if it fails? Sensors give the appearance that people are like in an emergency room. So they have to disappear. We are not on the hospital side, we are on the home side from the feeling. There is very little communication between definition of standards and the people who are responsible for the care. There is a barrier that they are not heard. They have so much to tell us and we have to listen. And they are limited in the flexibility. Some or a considerable part of care homes have the laundry, for example, with rented clothes. So how to improve the design of clothes for bedsheet? So you have to question the situation with renting, and you have to see the financial situation. So the next point automatically is costs. So if we have only expensive solutions, it will not be possible. Solutions must be intelligent, but at the same time affordable. And companies are afraid. If you take this is a new business. It follows, we saw it yesterday, it follows completely new structures. The structures are not that you make 1,000 t-shirts in the same color. It is mass customized to a certain need. But we are in a time where you can change that, where you can have flexible productions, and that would fit also in the European style of production. So there are maybe new labels required, but the company will be very much afraid to use an existing label for a product. But again, the products should not be derivatives from younger people products. They should be just excellent in their quality, so that you would also like to buy them. So that there is a completely change in mind. So the work package 3 focuses on the aspect of brainstorming. Here the experts and the participants are rather free to answer on questions like what is a perfect construction. We formulate requirements, demands, new ideas, approaches. They are free. There is no limitation, so you can design what you like to generate innovative ideas. Again, only 2 outcomes. there's more that comes in that report. The bed climate needs a new concept. So we have a bed which is very, very static in the development. The climate situation has been recognized as very critical for the skin damage and also the structure of bed linen. So the temperature household is dependent on region. In Italian we have more the feeling of too warm, while in Austria we have more the feeling of too cold. It depends on the climate, but there is no real consideration in these concepts. Fasteners are a big problem. Velcro is the only one which we see to be apparently acceptable, but it fills with fibers, it loses its activity, it needs maintenance, and it is not a perfect solution. There is really need for fastener concepts. And they should look like always. So this is again, we don't make new fasteners which then say, oh, we also have to wear them. They should look like daily life, as before. Just intelligent, also in the design. Another part, and this is, for example, one of the contributions from the Capri region, there is need for information material. The people have to learn and understand the options which can be given by a textile structure, and that means as long as there are no materials available, how to improve, how to decide, we saw that we have a very, very static situation in the material selection because there is no information. Nobody takes care that caregivers need some information which is readable and informative and fitting on their needs. And now we come to the future. The work package 4 designs new collaborations. Where to go? What could be done? What should be done? And what is reasonable? There are concepts in which are more challenging and concepts which are rather easy to reach, because that's the business of our institution and also the contribution of the enterprises to get the things down on realistic approaches also. If we are just somewhere and it will not be realistic in the next 20 years, then maybe I'm most probably among the elderly in the care home. So I'm pushing a little to get ahead. So proposals. Just a small series of proposals. Flame retardants is a discussion. People in care homes are smoking, and the nurses are afraid that it could burn holes in clothes and somewhere in the bedding, and it is not like a fireworker, but it should not burn, it should stop. So there is another approach. Design, order development is a serious topic. So the smell, if we can manage that better, it would be a very important improvement. The bed climate, sensoring in a hidden state, highly absorbing material. So you see how many options are for improvements. What we do is we collect all the proposals from the partners in the kind of a directory where the proposals are identified. This one, for example, is the proposal to start really information activities which can be generated out from the reports, but which also provide information for caregivers. What is a good bedding? What is a good construction? Why it is like this? Very, very basic information. Another approach, for example, deals now with temperature. So is it necessary to have a blanket always in the same structure? Could it be not different at the feet and then at the body? So that the parts of the body which you feel cold are heated more? It depends on the country, and that's another one. So the output of the project will be on different lines. One is strategically on the long-term development. Some are information materials. Some are reports on the present state. Some are to publish the material, to get it really applicable also to others, to a wider community. And a very important one is to generate the products which are appropriate to caregivers. So there is one request remaining, and this is to the caregivers. Please communicate to us. Let us know your requests, your complaints. It needs not to be formulated like a research proposal. Just write us an email with a line and say, I am fed up with this product. And then it's our business to see what is the problem, why. But don't think it's a lot of work. Let us know your opinion and help us to improve and the knowledge. So that's the point where I would like to thank the Commission to evaluate the proposal and to give us the opportunity to go that way. All participants for their contributions, in particular caregiving organizations, because they provide us with the necessary information, and the framework program to support that activity very generous, that we can really make a substantial effort. So, thank you.